Welcome back, explorers. Today in my photography series for beginners and kids, I'm going to talk about shutter speed. This box represents my camera. Stuart the minion inside it is the camera sensor. This board represents the shutter. Stuart, which is the camera sensor's job, is to capture everything he sees when the shutter is open and make it into a photo. Can you do that, Stuart?
Banana?
Okay, I know you like bananas. Here, yeah, he says definitely. So if the shutter is open for a short time, Stuart sees the scene or action in front of him for a short time and the action is frozen. Also, if the shutter is open for a short time like this, less light is captured by Stuart. So this is a fast shutter speed, or also called short exposure. If the shutter is open for a long time, Stuart captures all the action that's happening in front of him and catches more light. This is slow shutter speed, like this, or also called long exposure. Also, when we use long exposure, our photo gets blurry and this is called motion blur. So this is fast shutter speed, and this is slow shutter speed. Thank you, Stuart, for playing the role of camera sensor. Let's first understand how to capture motion and action using shutter speed, and we're going to use the fan for that. Okay, so right now, guys, I'm in shutter priority mode, which is shown by S, and my shutter speed is 1/500th of a second. So we're gonna take a picture. We're going to check out the picture and see what it looks like. So as you can see here, everything looks pretty still. The blades are still, the lights are still. Okay, so let's change our shutter speed to 250th of a second and take a picture. So now that we've opened this up, you can see here, this is 250th of a second. As you can see, it's getting blurry. And if we compare it to this, is 500th of a second. You can see it's definitely getting more blurry. Now let's change the shutter speed to 1/100th of a second. Definitely, you can see now that there's a lot more motion blur in the fan blades. Okay, now let's go to 1/10th of a second and take another picture. As you can see here, you can definitely see the motion in the fan blades. Now let's go to 1 second, and once I go here, oh, whoops. So these quotation marks means it's a full second. This is 1 second, and it doesn't even look like the fan has fan blades anymore. It looks more like there's a giant gray disc around the lights. Now let's learn how light is affected by shutter speed. Like in the video when we learned about aperture, I'm gonna take photos of clouds again. I'm gonna keep my aperture and ISO fixed, and I'm only gonna change my shutter speed. So if you come in here, you can see my ISO is 100 and my f-stop is f8, and I'm gonna keep changing my shutter speed. So the first picture I'm taking is gonna be at 1/250th of a second. We're gonna change our shutter speed to 1/100th of a second. As you can see, we've gotten more light because the shutter was open for a longer time. It's still a little bit darker than it is like seeing it with your eyes, so we're gonna take another picture. We've changed the shutter speed to 1/30th of a second. At this, I recommend you have a sturdy tripod because the photo might end up blurry if you're holding it because of your hand shaking. No one can hold a camera completely still. So everyone, as you can see, this is at 1/30th of a second, and we've gotten a lot more light in. because the shutter was open for a longer time. I've changed my shutter speed to 1/10 of a second. We're gonna take a picture and see what it looks like. Now 1/10 of a second, it looks like we have a little more light than we need. I'm gonna change it to 1 second and see what it looks like. As you can see, this is at 1 second, and we've overexposed this image. This is how we can use shutter speed to manipulate light. I hope you understand how we can use shutter speed to control light and motion in a picture. Not just motion, but we can add emotion to our pictures using shutter speed. And here are some examples where we've added emotion in our pictures using shutter speed. Like by using faster shutter speeds, we've taken some pictures of flying eagles and me playing on the beach and also playing some games. At the same time, we've used longer shutter speeds to capture images of waterfalls and some night landscapes. I hope you enjoyed my video today, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon, and don't forget to keep exploring.